Jim, how do you, I guess, suss through the fact that some people see demand still potentially strong in China, some see it weakening? What convinces you that it really is weakening?
Well, it's great to see you from San Francisco live, and as they say in China, ni hao. And we did a lot of China checks where the hello awakening was the local domestic resident in China is starting to feel the impact of these trade wars by shifting their preference to national brands. And unfortunately, Apple is not a national brand or a domestic brand in China. And we see the impact of this more towards the September quarter and further on. So we don't expect a miss in June, but we are seeing our first evidence of a trade war implication or replication from these trade wars. And it's a negative for Apple, as likely the domestic residents in China choose some of those other brands. Some of those other
Jim,
brands are Xiaomi. Yes.
Are you, you're going to talk about Xiaomi, Huawei, I imagine, but are you able to parse the different segments of the market, how the premium consumer is responding versus the non-premium, how the Android consumer is responding versus the one who might have been more inclined to buy Apple in the first place? Is Apple going to be disproportionately hurt, or might it actually fare better, say, than Samsung?
Well, actually, what we are seeing is you mentioned a couple of the brands, Xiaomi, Huawei, Vivo, Oppo. Some of these brands are now getting a more favorable light. A, their screens, batteries, processors have improved over the years, but B, they're the national brand, so you're supporting your own country there. Now, we do also note about the price bands that you talked about. Apple is still viewed as a luxury brand. It's still held up as an esteemed, admired, successful, want to brag about brand. But these other brands are catching up. So when we talk about the great general population, where Apple has had to do some price cuts, we are now seeing a recent shift in preference away from Apple towards these other brands, likely to manifest itself more in the September or the fall time period.
Jim, is Apple going to have to come out with a lower-priced, more affordable phone in the future?
We believe so. What they typically do is come out with their new phone and drop the prices of the older phones. So traditionally what's been known as the Apple SE, that phone traditionally is not sold much in the U.S. or developed countries. We expect a follow-on to the Apple iPhone SE that will have a little bit better performance but will be priced lower. And we've seen Apple take more aggressive, also known as lower prices, of its phone in Asia. And we expect that these prices are a very reality of the increased competition. So yes, we expect there's a premium and then a lower price point.
Finally, Jim, obviously with so much at risk in China, what explains their market share gains over the past few months? Is that just sheer price cut?
Apple implemented some very enticing, appealing price cuts on its product. And those price cuts have made the iPhone a lot more affordable. To give you some share statistics, Apple represents about 12% of the China market share, and that was as of the December quarter. And compared to the full year, it was 10%. So you're right, they did see some improvement in share gains as the year progressed, specifically as Apple put in those price cuts. We believe that those share gains, however, are going to slow down as the trade wars heat up. Trade wars, simply put, are bad for technology companies and end demand.